The Aspens are turning in the Libby trial, and when they turn together. And Libby is now saying, "Whoa, wasn't me. It was Karl Rove. What's happening? They laid me out to dry. I'm the sacrificial lamb."
For those who might not know, I can't imagine that anyone listening doesn't. Scooter Libby, of course, a former chief of staff to Vice President Cheney, on trial in connection with the Valerie Plame leak investigation, not charged with leaking her name, but charged with obstruction of justice. And they've picked a jury, and opening arguments for yesterday.
By the way, I hate the argument of, like, this isn't even on the real matter. This is just obstruction of justice. Wait a minute. Didn't they try to impeach Clinton on obstruction of justice and lying to a grand jury? I thought that's what kind of happened.
I don't think so. I think you're remembering that wrong.
Oh, I see. And second of all, yeah, we couldn't try him on the real substantive case because he obstructed justice, and he lied. Yeah. So we couldn't get to the truth. That's what it is. So it is substantive. It's incredibly substantive. But more to the point here, there's politics at play here, obviously, and the fact that Libby's going after Karl Rove and the Bush administration is actually a great sign. So this could turn out to be fantastic political theater, if you will. And Fitzgerald is going to lay out the case for how the administration did a hatchet job on their critics and how they undermined them, and also, of course, release the name of an undercover CIA agent, which is awful. And I want to take time to remind everybody, because I love this quote, and we should remind people of it almost every day. This is George H.W. Bush speaking about people who released the identity of covert CIA agents. This was when they were actually naming the new CIA building after him.
I have nothing but contempt and anger for those who betray the trust by exposing the name of our sources. They are, in my view, the most insidious of traitors.
Ah, the most insidious of traitors. That was, of course, before his son did it, and the vice president did it, and Karl Rove and Scooter Libby did it.
Can't imagine that George H.W. Bush thinks much of Scooter Libby. I can't imagine a guy like Scooter has friends. A guy named Scooter has friends. Although if he has friends, it would be the Bush family. Because, I mean, a guy named Scooter spends some time at the club.
Well, put aside Scooter, and I have no idea what H.W. thinks of him, but H.W. clearly does not like Karl Rove. We know that because he fired Karl Rove from his campaign for doing the same dirty tricks that George W. Bush loved.
For giving information to Robert Novak.
Right. For, talking about sources, etc., and leaking information, and the things that actually got him in trouble. That's why George H.W. Bush, for all that you people might disagree with his domestic policies, was 1,000 times more principled than his son. Now, but the driving theme here of this Libby trial, it seems, is that the vice president's in a lot of trouble. The vice president's going to have to testify. He's going to have to talk about his role in outing Valerie Plame and why they chose to jeopardize national security and an undercover CIA officer for their own political purposes. Now even Norah O'Donnell, who's normally loathsome and it spews Republican talking points to no end on MSNBC, is talking about whether the vice president needs to resign, asking Andy Card that. Andy Card just punting on the ball on that question and not even really addressing it, not saying it's absurd. So we're beginning to have that conversation. And now John McCain, on a separate issue, on Iraq, has begun to pile on Cheney. And he's saying for the first time, look, as Biden said last week, Cheney's been dead wrong on everything in Iraq. And he's saying, and he feels besieged. He's like, now all of a sudden it seems like Iraq is on me. And that's because it is, John.
Yeah.
But he says, this is his way of talking to a reporter and saying, it wasn't me, it was Dick Cheney who got everything wrong. And he said it was going to be easy when it wasn't. He agreed with Rumsfeld on the troop levels when I said we need to put more troop levels. He was wrong on the intelligence. So
why are you supporting them now?
When clearly it's not going to work now. And I think he realizes he's made a tremendous political mistake, but it's too late.
Yeah, I don't think he realizes it. Maybe.
I mean, reading this story, and it's on Politico.com, you get a sense of, here's a guy saying, uh-oh, I think I might have screwed up.
Whether he thinks it or not, he has.